All right, hi everyone. Welcome to Principles of Operations Management for summer 2023. My name is Brian Vickers. I'm going to be your instructor for this semester. A little bit late start as we went through some technical difficulties here at NSU with our networks being down, but we're back up and running. Normally in this class, I like to have everything open to you on day one. Unfortunately, I've got about maybe a quarter of it uploaded for you to get started. Hope to have everything else uploaded in the next couple of days as I'm getting access restored myself to Blackboard and everything else. So we're going to start by going through the syllabus briefly. The full syllabus is available for you on Blackboard. Please make sure you review it and sign off on the syllabus acknowledgement. This is an online asynchronous course, meaning you can sign in any time of the day to do your work, to read the textbook. We don't have dedicated meeting times. My availability is pretty open during the weekdays. Anytime you want to set up an appointment on a weekday, usually in the 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. range. I have some availability outside of that, but we can make an appointment to meet if you have any questions and want to meet virtually over Zoom. I do not keep office hours on campus during the summer. If need be, I could meet at Broken Arrow campus, though. I live in the Tulsa area. This course, we've got a lot of chapters to cover, 14 chapters, plus the supplementary chapters that are included in the chapters. Chapter 4 and Chapter 5 have supplementary chapters with them. So a lot to cover. Normally in an 8-week period, we cover 2 a week for 7 weeks, and then we have an exam on the final on week 8. Because of the technical issues with our networks, I have taken the first 2 chapters. They're open now, but the due dates, I've pushed them back to week 2. So all 4 of them are going to be due at the end of week 2. I suggest working ahead to make sure that you, have your, just for balancing your time and the workload, if you can, as soon as you get access to it, get started right away, because there is a lot to cover in this class. We are using Connect. If you haven't used Connect before, it is a McGraw-Hill product that gives interactive learning through not just quizzes, but a thing called SmartBook, where as you're reading the material, you're answering questions to check for understanding. You'll be submitting your problem sets to that as well. The great thing about that is that you get access to check your work before you submit it a number of times to see if you're on the right track or not. And you get the feedback immediately. When I teach this as a 16-week class, I did not use Connect. So if your schedule permits it and you really have an issue with Connect and you're watching this video before the drop date and you don't want to use Connect, understandable. If you don't want the extra cost or you don't like the software, whatever your reason for it is, you could enroll in the 16-week version of my class in the fall. And I do not use Connect. It's much more Excel heavy in that class. It's just the reason I use Connect during the 8-week classes is because it's just not possible for me to get you the feedback in time before the next chapter starts, because we're doing more than 1 chapter a week when it's an 8-week class. There's 14 chapters that have to be covered with all the student learning objectives and outcomes, and it's just not possible to do in an 8-week class with the amount that builds on itself and the feedback you guys need in order to be able to do the next week's assignment. So I found that this is the best way for you to understand the material, for you to get the concepts that are necessary for passing this class. I still will have videos recorded, lectures over each chapter, and practice problems that I go through solving both with Excel and with pen and paper calculator. So you can solve it either way. For your problem sets, you'll solve them offline, and then or you can solve them right there in Connect. But you'll put all your the answers to each of the sections into Connect. If you do want to complete it in Excel, because the formulas and functions make it easy to solve, and then copy the solutions over there afterwards, that's a great way to do it. Or you can do it right there in Connect. And like I said, you can check your work on each problem as you go. We will have 1 assignment that needs to be done using either Excel or Google Sheets. It's the chalk and wire assessments, which are required of any business core class. You're going to submit those at the end of module 6, week 6. There's 2 of them. They're worth 20 points apiece. And you'll submit 2 different Excel files. There's 2 different links for you to follow through Blackboard to link up with chalk and wire, and then those get assessed. They're over material that's very similar to what we'll do in chapter 3 and chapter 5. So starting the first one right after you do chapter 3 is a way to make sure that it's still fresh in your mind on how to solve it. Same thing after you do chapter 5. If you want to do the second chalk and wire assessment, that's a great time to do it. It's due by the end of week 6, but you're welcome to do it anytime earlier. If you don't have Excel on your computer, laptop already, you can install it for free as an NSU student. And if you go to the IT client portal and go NSU, there's links, or there's a link right here in the syllabus. You can also use any computer in the computer lab. Broken Arrow and Tahlequah campus computer labs are open 24/7. I also have a link to the virtual desktop in the syllabus as well. The breakdown of assignments, there's going to be a discussion board assignment by the end of week 2. Every chapter has both a smart book and a quiz that are worth 10 points apiece. The smart book assessment, it basically, as you're reading the material, as you're studying it, it's going to ask you questions about it to make sure you understand that part of it. Once enough concepts have been understood, then you pass. Based on the amount of progress you get, it's worth up to 10 points. And then the quizzes are going to have anywhere from 15 to 25 questions, I believe is the max on any of them, that are worth a varying degree of points, anywhere from half a point to a full point based on the question. That's worth 10 points as well. So it's basically 2 parts of the same thing. You're checking for understanding of the learning material in each chapter, one through the smart book as you're reading it and as you're going along, and one through the quiz. If there's quantitative work on that question, if there's practice problems at the end of the book, you'll want to do those practice problems and follow along with the practice problems videos that I'm going to submit before you take the quizzes for those chapters. And that's most of them. Chapters 1, 15, and 14, I don't think have any. I think those are the 3 that have no quantitative work in them. So you can do those quizzes without doing any practice problems. But for the rest of them, you'll want to make sure you understand how to solve those problems before you take the quizzes. So there's going to be maybe 3 to 5 quantitative questions in those quizzes as well. And if you don't know how to solve those, you're not going to perform well in the quiz. So make sure you understand those before you start the quiz. I plan to have all the assignments open by the end of the week for you to work ahead. If you've got plans this summer and you've got a week that you have limited availability, you can work ahead to get it done ahead of time. But they still do have due dates on them along the way. So every 2 chapters is 2 chapters are due every week. But I've pushed back the first 2 chapters that we're covering to week 2 just because of all the issues of getting your passwords reset and everything. 3 problem sets that are worth 120 points apiece. Those are going to be due during weeks 3, 5, and 7. They're going to cover multiple chapters worth of quantitative work. Chapter quiz and smart book, there's 2 a week for all 7 of the first 7 weeks. And then the comprehensive final exam is the week 8. You're going to have 4-day window in which to take the exam. You get 1 attempt at it. It's worth 300 points. Please note that all the quizzes and exams are open note, open book. However, we will be taking the final exam over lockdown browser. You can still use your ebook by using an additional electronic device like a tablet, your phone, a laptop that's separate from the computer you're taking the exam on. Note that interacting with anyone during that exam, it's going to be on the lockdown browser. It's going to be with monitor included. You'll need to have a webcam access. Even though it's open book, open note, using any other internet resource other than your ebook, you'll need to show the camera at the beginning that your airplane mode is on that electronic device. If you're going to use that, you cannot access the internet or any other resource, like another person in the room interacting with them. That's going to result in a 0 on the assignment. No additional warnings for plagiarism or cheating. We're going to have a writing assignment on the discussion board. Don't plagiarize that assignment. I want to know your original thoughts on the matter. I'm judging for how you interpret the material. It doesn't necessarily have to be right. There's no right or wrong answers on discussion boards. It's about discussing it and making sure that you understand how those materials conceptually relate to the world. All the quizzes have a 1-hour timer. The exam will have a 2-hour timer. Your problem sets, you can check your work on each of the problems up to 3 times. It's possible that some of the problems I might give additional checks at discretion based on how everyone's doing on them as I'm checking. Let's take a look at the assignment calendar. So normally chapter 1 and 15, which are about operations and supply chain management, would be due at the end of this first week. I have extended that as you guys are getting set up on Connect and resetting your passwords and getting back on Blackboard and all that. So as soon as you get access, start working as soon as you can to get those done. You'll see chapter 15 and 14 are early on. They're very conceptual chapters. There's not a lot of problem sets, or there's not a lot of quantitative work, or they just kind of help you to understand how, more management theory related to the material. And so it helps give you a better baseline for how you're relating the rest of the chapters to the real world, examples of how, best practices and whatnot. So we cover those early on. Plus, it helps to split it up on the workload. Chapter 3 is a little bit more intensive a chapter. So pairing it with chapter 14, which is a little lighter, helps to balance the workload in that week. Chapter 1 and 15 are very conceptual chapters that have no quantitative work. Again, they help to just kind of outline what managing operations is all about, how it relates to the other systems in an industry. So please check that calendar. I've got that all in the Blackboard. Let's take a look at Blackboard real quick. Your syllabus quiz is going to be right here. You'll have access to download the syllabus, and then the syllabus acknowledgement is just a one question. I have read the syllabus. The start here has information about me and the course, which you should know because that's where you've clicked on to watch this video. The learning module section, I've got it broken down based just on what I've shown you in that syllabus. So module number 1, once you click on it, it'll take you to the chapter 1 SmartBook and quiz links. There is a Connect orientation and course link folder up here. If you click on either one of these or any of the assignments, that's how you'll pair Connect up with your with the course and link it to where after you've done that one time, then connecting on any assignment will take you right to that assignment on Connect. If you want to review your grades, they import automatically. It takes a few minutes, but they import automatically, and you can go to My Grades to see how you scored. The syllabus acknowledgement is not worth any points. There's no points there. Same thing with those orientation videos. If you haven't used Connect before, I highly recommend just checking them out. On the SmartBooks, I have them set to where the number of concepts that you to check for understanding should come out to about an hour worth of work. So if you want to manage your time, about an hour. Now, it averages out to an hour, but it's based on, that's if you have already read the chapter, you'd be able to go through it in about an hour. If you're reading the chapter as you're going through it and checking for understanding, might take a little bit longer. It might say average to 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. Well, it averages out to an hour, but it might take you a half hour, might take you an hour and a half. It just depends on how you go through it. You can, getting the wrong answer on the SmartBook doesn't result in negative points. You just, until you get it right, it won't check that concept that you've understood that. And it might ask you follow-up questions. If you get it wrong, 3 times in a row, then it might ask you more than once to get it down. Whereas if you get it right the first attempt, it might not ask you that again. It just kind of, uses an algorithm to figure out when it thinks that you've understood the material. So please watch the YouTube videos that I've got recorded, that I've uploaded. If you, because I use Excel in my 16-week version of the class, if the videos if they talk about, you must use Excel formulas for this problem set, go ahead and ignore that, because, I grade for looking at the Excel file and checking to make sure functions and formulas are used as part of the problem set when it's submitted that way. Because you're submitting it on Connect, go ahead and ignore that if you hear any of that on the YouTube videos. Or if there's anything else in the YouTube videos that doesn't seem applicable and you have any questions, just email me, and I can make a correction to that for the class. If there's something I missed, I tried to go through, and if there's anything that really needs to be re-updated for the 8-week version, I've re-recorded a couple of them. But if there's anything else I missed and it seems confusing, please let me know right away. Otherwise, those YouTube videos are going to be in the learning modules folders. Once I get that set up, it's going to take probably another day to get the entire course ready to go, or completely set up, but you can get started right away through the SmartBooks at the very least right now. So that's it. Feel free to email me any time of the day. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you're a night owl and you email me late at night, don't worry about it. I've got my phone on do not disturb after I go to bed, but I will check it in the morning and get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks, everyone. I look forward to a good semester, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.